Madam Chair,
Brenda,
you're muted.
You're muted, Brenda.
Excuse me. The Piscataway Township Planning Board meeting will please come to order. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided in the following ways. Notice published in the Courier News, notice posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building, notice made available to the township clerk, notice sent to the Courier News and the Star Ledger. Ms. Buckley, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Waller,
Present.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Here.
Ms. Corcoran,
Here.
Ms. Saunders,
Here.
Mr. Atkins,
Here.
Mr. Foster. He's here. Mike. Mr. Echeverria. And Madam Chair.
Here. Mr. Barlow, would you please read the open public meeting notice?
Certainly, Madam Chair. I just want to place on the record that in keeping with the guidelines that have been disseminated by the Department of Community Affairs, Planning Board has tried its best to comply with the Open Public Meeting Act and the DCA guidelines. In addition, the applicants whose matters will be heard this evening had the login information for the online meeting platform put forth in the notices. Members of the public who wish to be heard will be afforded an opportunity as if they were in the actual physical space. And we've done our best to comply with the DCA guidelines and the Open Public Meetings Act, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I believe the flag is visible over my shoulder. Can we all recite the Pledge of Allegiance in unison? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 5, can we swear in the professionals, please?
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
Madam Chair, just with regards to number 11, 25 PB03/04 V 83 International and 2 Arlington Place, there are variances that are listed as being required. I just want to note that the applicant updated their plans to include everything that the township's professional staffs were seeking, and it no longer requires any variances of any kind. So it is just a minor subdivision. I know the agenda lists a number of variances. None of those are required anymore as the applicant complied with everything, whether it's the conduit or the enclosures for the AC, everything else. So they're amended plans. So that's going to just be a straight minor subdivision. That's the only change, Madam Chair.
Okay, the record should reflect that in the minutes. So then we will go back to our agenda, which is the item number 7, duly audited bills. Can I have a motion?
Madam Chair, Dawn Corcoran, I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Councilwoman Cahill, second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
Mr. Echeverria is not here, and Madam Chair.
Yes. Item number 8, adoption of the resolutions taken on September the 10th.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to,
Says none.
Madam-
There are none.
We have none tonight. Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Item number 9, adoption of the minutes from the regular meeting of September the 10th.
Madam Chair, hello. Madam Chairman, I'd like to adopt the minutes from the regular meeting of September 10th, 2025.
Second, please.
I second it.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Item number 10, 24 PB707, Raven Heights LLC and Kieran Kaduri, final major subdivision. Mr. Larry Lavender appearing.
Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all again.
Mhm.
Madam Chairman, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Barlow, it's good to see you. My name is Larry Lavender. I'm from the law firm of Wiley Lavender McNor. My client is Raven Heights LLC with the owner of said LLC, Kieran Kaduri, here, as Madam Chairman said, for final subdivision. Preliminary was approved back in August of 2022. Property is 17 and 21 School Street.
Madam Chair, just briefly, as Mr. Lavender indicated, this board by resolution adopted on September 14th of 2022 had granted the applicant preliminary major subdivision on both variances. He's spent the time since then making sure that they complied with all of the conditions of said preliminary major subdivision. And I believe Ms. Corcoran can confirm that having complied with all of that, they are now seeking final major, so that they can go to the building department and start building with regards to the 3-lot subdivision.
And Madam Chair, that is correct. The applicant has complied with all of the conditions of the preliminary approval.
So if there's no questions, do we need to go to the public?
I would open to the public, Madam Chair.
Okay. This matter is open to the public. Anyone having questions regarding this application, you may indicate by waving your hand.
Raising your hand, or if you're at the phone, *6. No one, Madam Chair.
All right, closed to the public. Members of the board, do you have any questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
Madam Chair, Dawn Corcoran, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the application for final major subdivision.
Do I have a second?
Carol Saunders, second.
Roll call.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Okay,
Thank you all very much.
you're quite welcome. Good luck. Mhm.
Well done, Larry. Heavy
Yes,
lifting
sir.
here.
Oh, right. Right. Thank you all. I'll see you.
Item number 11, 25 PB 03/04 V as in Victor. Siva Kumar Natarajan for a minor subdivision.
Yes,
Appear-
ma'am, I'm here.
Mhm. Okay. You may proceed.
Well, just, Madam Chair, since, Mr. Nutter is the owner and the applicant, he's representing himself. He may be giving testimony. I think out of just an abundance of caution, if we could have Ms. Saunders swear him in.
Okay.
Can you please raise your hand? Right hand, please. Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I agree. Nothing
Thank
but
you.
the truth. Thank you. All right, so I am seeking a subdivision of both the properties. Like I own 83 International as well as 2 Arlington, and I want to extend my primary residence backyard. So that's why I'm asking to move the lot line to give a bigger lot for 83 International.
And Mr. Reinerston or Ms. Corcoran, can you just confirm that the applicant's amended plans that he submitted to the township did away with any of the variances that were originally noted in the application?
Well, I'll wait for Dawn to unmute. I think we're on the same page.
That is correct. And the applicant even applied for the permits to move the AC units out of the easement area for the existing dwelling. So,
It was already applied and approved, and it's
Mhm.
closed.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And just for the record, what we received in secondary was an engineering one page showing all of these items.
Mhm.
Most of our comments that I didn't say were marked as satisfied is because we didn't see an amended, because our original review was based on a subdivision plan. So if everything is, everything is okay with the applicant, we have no other comments.
Thank you.
And the applicant has addressed all of the items in the staff report as well.
And both lots are, it's a minimum lot area of 10,000 square feet, and the proposed lots exceed that. So again, he's kind of taking a piece off of one property and adding it to another.
Okay.
And sir, just so you understand, if the board votes favorably on your subdivision, you're going to need to have an attorney prepare subdivision deeds for filing, okay?
Yes, sir, I do understand. Mr. Cochran is good enough to advise me all this next proceeding. So thank you so much, Mr. Cochran.
You're very
Okay.
welcome.
Okay, we still have to open it to the public. Members of the public, does anyone in the public have any questions about this piece of property or have any questions or comments about this application?
No one, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Closed to the public. All right, members of the board, any questions or I'll take a motion?
Madam Chair, I just want to confirm with Mr. Barlow that a notice was sent out to all neighbors and we have that backup.
Well, Councilwoman Kale, as Ms. Buckley can confirm, because this is a minor subdivision, it's an
Hi.
approval by right, and no variances were sought. This application doesn't require notice to the 200-foot that it
Okay.
would normally be. He publishes it and he has to notify the
Board of
The
Education.
Board of Ed.
the
The
Board of
one,
Ed and the utility. And he has done that and provided Ms. Buckley with the appropriate proofs for same.
Okay, so that means this gentleman, the resident, you have not come before this board. You addressed everything before your first presentation here today.
Correct, Miss. Yeah, again, Mrs. Cochran was kind enough to advise me on what need to be done, so you don't waste everybody's time. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Dawn. Yeah,
You're welcome.
they're very good at. Okay, very good. Then that was my only question. Thank you.
Certainly.
If there are no more questions, are we ready for a motion?
Madam Chair,
see.
Dawn Corcoran, I'll make a motion to approve the application for minor subdivision.
And I will
Yes.
second that.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you. Good luck, Mr. Natarajan.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Do I need to stay or I'm
Nope.
free?
You are free to go, sir.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good
Mhm.
night.
Thank you, you too.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Item number 12, 25 PB 05/06, 1700 Washington Avenue Investments LLC for a preliminary and final site plan and major subdivision. Mr. Arch.
Yes, good evening, everybody, members of the board professionals. It's been a little while since I've been in front of the planning board. I think the zoning board is getting tired of me, but it's good to see you all tonight.
Oh, welcome back.
So I'm here. I'm here tonight representing 1700 South Washington Avenue Investments LLC, and you're correct. We're seeking preliminary and final site plan with major subdivision approval to construct 190 senior living apartments split across 4 buildings, consisting of 3 or 4 stories per building, and totaling approximately 316 to 317,000 square feet, including a clubhouse as well as separately subdividing 44 lots, which are going to contain senior single-family detached homes. The property in question is approximately 42.9 acres, and it's located at 1700 South Washington Avenue, along Suddy Avenue and Carroll Lane, and known as Block 5701, Lot 11. And it is in the 1700 South Washington Avenue redevelopment plan zone. And I'm happy to confirm, and we will also confirm through testimony, that we are compliant with that plan. We are not seeking any deviations from that redevelopment zone. So there's really 2 major components to this. There's the apartment component and then the single family component. So you'll see as we kind of go through the presentation, we're going to essentially be presenting each of them individually just to keep everything as organized as possible. But it's all part of the same lot. This is a really exciting project for us because it's providing a much needed product to Piscataway. The township has rightly identified senior housing in high demand for the residents of Piscataway, and in passing the redevelopment plan in place for this property, they had that use in mind. And looking at everybody on the board, I can see that nobody on this board is close to senior age. So you'll have to imagine for a moment what it would be like to be a senior. But I think that you'll find that the proposal is something that Piscataway will be very proud to be able to offer to its residents. I do want to additionally thank the township's professionals who have worked very closely with our team, literally for years at this point, to make sure that we're not only checking boxes to be conforming with the redevelopment plan, which we are, but really going above and beyond to make something that's going to be exceptional that I think the town's going to be really proud of. So thank everybody. So with that, I do want to acknowledge the staff reports. We have the DNR report dated October 1st, 2025. We have the famous tri-party staff report, which is dated September 29th. We have a fire review memo dated October 2nd, CME's report dated October 1st, and the Dolan and Dean traffic report dated August 20th. We believe that we can address all the comments in the report, and we will happily continue to work with your professionals to their satisfaction as part of any compliance. I do want to mention there were two comments briefly that I believe were in the tri-party report that we just want to confirm we are agreeing to. That's the fiber optic conduit, as well as providing appropriate fencing around our stormwater basins. So I just want to confirm we are complying with that, so we are a fully conforming application with no deviations. Unless there's any preliminary questions of me, I do have 3 witnesses tonight, and so I'm ready to proceed unless anybody has any preliminary questions.
Tim, just one question. Did you say 40 or 44 single family?
So it's 44 lots. However, you'll see there's 40 single family homes, I believe, or 39. I'm gonna defer to my engineer on that one when we get to him. But some of those lots are going to be utilized as stormwater, and I think there's an open space lot. So 44 lots for the subdivision. Not all of them are going to contain a home, however, but we'll see that.
Okay, that's what I saw, 40 detached residences. I just wanted to, but I'm sure the testimony will reveal that. Thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, so my first witness tonight is Chris Zalay from Menlo Engineering. He's our civil engineer. And if we could have him sworn in.
Okay. Chris, can you please raise your right hand?
Yep, right here.
Do you swear that the testimony about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Chris, if you can briefly just let the board know your qualifications so they can accept you as a civil engineer.
Yes, my name is Christopher Saleh. Last name is S as in Sam, Z as in Zebra, A-L-A-Y. I currently work at Menlo Engineering Associates, located at 261 Cleveland Avenue in Highland Park, New Jersey. I received a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the University of Rhode Island in 2008, and I've been a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey since 2013. My license is in good standing, and I've testified before this board as well as many other boards throughout the state.
I would ask that he be accepted as a expert in civil engineering.
He's accepted for this board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, you're familiar with the site, you're familiar with the plan, you're familiar with all the specifics. If you can just take us through that, and I'll give the floor over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tim. So tonight I have prepared for you 4 exhibits that if I can share my screen, I will introduce them to the board.
Christopher, what we'll do is the first one will be A1, A2, A3, and we'll just we'll mark them as such, okay?
Okay, great.
And if when you bring them up, each one, if you could just identify it for the record.
Okay, so can everyone see my screen at this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right, so this first exhibit is entitled RIA-1700 Washington Avenue, Existing Conditions Exhibit dated 10/8/25, which I'll introduce as A1. And this exhibit is depicting an aerial background that shows the existing conditions of the subject property. The property boundary is highlighted, and you'll see we have 2 boxes highlighted known as Site A and Site B. Site A being the location of the single-family subdivision, and Site B being the location of the multifamily development. The second exhibit I'll introduce is entitled RIA-1700 Washington Avenue Overall Plan Exhibit dated 10/8/25 as well. This is an overview, really over the same aerial background, same scale, and it now shows the proposed site improvements within Site A and Site B as a colorized rendering. And this was basically colorized rendering of the submitted overall plan that was part of the site plan set. The third exhibit that I'll be sharing is entitled RIA 1700 Washington Avenue Site A Site Plan Exhibit. And this is essentially zoomed in site plan, colorized rendering of the site plan over the same aerial background at a larger scale with the zone table shown and landscaping shown as well. And again, this is a colorized rendering of the submitted site plan that was part of the site plan set. And the fourth exhibit, A4, is a zoomed in colorized rendering of the site plan for Site B. And this is entitled RIA 1700 Washington Avenue Site B Site Plan Exhibit, also dated 10/8/25. And this has the zone table and landscaping shown as well. So those are the four exhibits that I'll be referring to as I go through my testimony. What I'll start with is Exhibit A1 and describing the property as a whole. The subject property is an irregular shaped lot, approximately 42.97 acres in area, and is designated as Block 5701, Lot 11, as shown on the tax map for Piscataway Township. Has approximately 789 linear feet of frontage on the west side of South Washington Avenue, and the property extends back in somewhat of an L shape towards the west, towards Suddy Avenue. The address is 1700 South Washington Avenue. It's located about 1,000 feet north of the intersection with Mettler's Lane. And the site is located, was within the SCH Senior Citizen Housing Zone and is subject to the regulations of the 1700 South Washington Avenue redevelopment plan, which is dated April 25th, 2025. Surrounding the property, you'll see to the north, there's the elementary school, and then there's additional industrial warehouses that are just a little bit off the view. To the east of the property, there's open space that is designated, I believe, to be a township park in the future. To the south of the site, there's an additional lot that is part of the redevelopment plan for 1700 South Washington Avenue that will also hopefully eventually be senior citizen housing. And beyond that, there's Woodland Road with single family homes. And to the west of the property, there's additional single family homes along Suddy Avenue and Carroll Lane. Currently, the property is vacant. It's mostly open space, as you can see, to the southeast and to the northwest. And then there's a big area of woods in the middle of the property. Most of that wooded area is wetlands currently, per a DEP LOI that has been obtained. The wetlands have a 50-foot wetlands buffer. And there's 3 pockets of additional isolated wetlands in the northwest corner of the site. And really the only significant existing feature on site is a JCP&L 100-foot wide easement for high power tension wires, where there's a tower and 2 additional utility poles located on the east side of the site nearer to South Washington Avenue. And based on really all this, the constraints, the developable area of the site is greatly reduced from the 43-acre site to about 22 acres that is really developable due to the environmental constraints. I'll move to Exhibit A2, and what we're seeking approval for tonight is preliminary and final site plan approval and major subdivision. And as Tim stated, there's really 2 components to this application: Site A, which is the single family subdivision, and Site B, which is the multifamily, containing 190 apartments and it's actually 39 single family homes. So the subdivision is for 45 lots over the property. 44 of the lots are located within the single family portion. That's 39 single family homes, an open space lot, 3 basin lots, and actually the last lot is for the roadway, which is to be privately owned and maintained, and that was at the request of the township. And then the last lot, the 45th lot, is the remainder of the site, which encompasses the multifamily portion of the project, as well as the large area of wetlands between the 2 sites. And So now that we kind of got an overview, I'll focus on each site individually and go through again, existing conditions of each area, proposed improvements, and then maybe it would make sense to even take some questions if anyone has any questions on each site, without confusing things too much. So focusing on Site A, I'll actually go back to the existing conditions, Exhibit A1. This portion of the site that is being developed within Site A and the 44 lots as part of the single-family subdivision consists of 9.07 acres. This area is mostly field, open space, as you can see, with a few small pockets of woods, and then 3 isolated wetland areas, and then it just encroaches slightly into the larger wetland area to the south. The site slopes pretty significantly from the northeast corner of the property to the southwest corner towards Carroll Lane, and to the south towards the large pocket of wetlands. It slopes about 24 feet from elevation 98 down to 74. So there's quite a bit of grade change that we're dealing with through this piece of property. And so what the applicant is seeking approval for is 39 single-family homes. Access to the property is from Carroll Lane, which is a 50-foot wide public right-of-way off of Suddy Avenue. We are extending Carroll Lane approximately 1,800 linear feet in kind of a looped configuration as a private roadway to provide frontage for each of the single-family homes. The density based on the 39 single-family homes on this 9.07 acre area is about 4.3 units per acre, which is compliant with the redevelopment plan. The lots vary in size from about 5,000 square feet for one of these typical rectangular shaped lots that are 50 by 100 in dimension, and up to the largest lot, I believe, is 10,681 square feet. And that's one of these corner lots where the property kind of jogs back a little bit deeper, and the lot is a little bit more irregularly shaped. Each home requires a setback of 20 feet along the front, 12 feet on either side, and 35 feet from the rear. And the homes vary in size from about 1,900 square feet to 2,100 square feet in total floor area. Now, this complies with all of the redevelopment plan requirements for maximum building coverage of 20% permitted and maximum height of not more than 30 feet. The design and architectural design comply completely with the redevelopment plan. Each home contains a single car garage and a 12-foot wide driveway that extends to the Carroll Lane extended road, providing 2 parking spaces for each single family home, which again is compliant with the redevelopment plan and RSIS standards. There's sidewalk provided along both sides of the road to allow for pedestrian passive recreation and exercise, and it leads down to one of the non-single family lots, which is lot 1, is an open space lot that provides a nice landscaping area, gazebo, and a couple benches for residents to get a little passive exercise and sit down in a nice landscaped area. The remaining 3 or 4 lots are 3 lots for stormwater basins. There's one centrally located in the middle of the site, another one at near the southwest portion of the improvements, and the one at the southeast side of the site. And again, that's with the existing grade of the site grading towards the south, the basins are located middle to the south end of the single family subdivision. And then the final lot again is within the private roadway that is to be owned and maintained by an HOA that will be created as part of this project to essentially maintain everything that comes along with this age-restricted housing development. Regarding stormwater management, the project is a major development since it triggers stormwater management, being over an acre of disturbance and greater than a quarter acre of increased impervious coverage. The applicant proposes to construct a conventional stormwater system consisting of underground pipes, catch basins, which will convey runoff to the multiple bioretention basins. Due to the significant slope from one side of the site, there will also be a drainage swale that runs along the rear of each of the properties, which will convey some of the off-site drainage and stormwater runoff that, since kind of this whole area drains to the south, we have a significant drainage area to try and bypass some of the stormwater runoff around our basins through a swale and to the wetlands beyond our site, which is maintaining the existing drainage pattern that exists today. We're following all green infrastructure requirements by providing bioretention basins, which will achieve multiple functions in the stormwater design, one being water quality, which we're achieving 80% TSS removal for all pavement surfaces, and secondly for runoff quantity reductions to meet all requirements of the DEP, municipality, county, and soil erosion. Our design certainly complies with all of these requirements, utilizing this green infrastructure design. Moving on to utilities, sewer is available in Suddy Avenue, so we're providing a sewer main extension that will service each of the 39 homes. And similarly with water, gas, electric, utility connections will all be serviced from existing infrastructure within Suddy Avenue. And then finally, fiber optics, which is going to be provided or is provided on the plans along both the frontages along both sides of the road, so that when high speed internet, broadband, think FiOS is available in the area, we'll have these fiber optics conduits available for the residents to obtain that service. Moving on to landscape, you'll see we've provided a substantial amount of landscaping throughout the site, including nice perimeter landscaping, utilizing evergreen trees and shade trees to provide some buffering between the new development and existing single-family residences to the west. In total, we're providing 152 shade trees, 161 evergreens, 24 flowering trees, and 88 shrubs. We did provide with this latest resubmission tree replacement calculations by going out to the site and taking some tree counts in a tree plot and then prorating it across the site based on the amount of wooded area. And so that's within the site plan set. And finally, for lighting design, we've designed the site utilizing 16 pole-mounted LED lantern-style fixtures, which are more decorative and residential looking, kind of a nicer look than some of the taller industrial commercial light fixtures. And they're mounted at, I believe, 14 feet high to provide an average of about 0.64 foot candles through the roadway to provide safe and adequate lighting to the development without getting too bright, since this is a residential development. And that really finishes my direct testimony on Site A. So if there's any questions from the board or anyone has, I'd be happy to answer on this before I move on to Site B in the multifamily.
Madam Chair, this is Mayor Wall. I just have one question. Mr. Saleh, the southerly portion of where there's no sidewalk going out to Carroll Lane, is there a reason why there's no sidewalk on that side?
No, it was just because we're tying into the existing sidewalk on Carroll Lane. So that's really the main reason, is that there's existing sidewalk there that we're connecting to. So we
All
just
right. Well,
funnel
what we're gonna
everyone
have
to
to
that
do is
side.
you're gonna have to run the sidewalk on that southerly side.
Okay.
All right.
I don't think that should be an issue.
Okay.
Any other questions of the board members of this portion of the testimony so far?
Madam Chair, if I could, just.
Go ahead,
if
Councilwoman.
you, thank you very much.
Mhm.
If you don't mind, just could you point out on the map again where the wetlands are in relation to the development?
So really the wetlands are right along the back of the subdivision line. You can see this dark black line here is the limit of wetlands. So
Okay.
it runs right along the perimeter of the subdivision. And then from that wetlands line, there's a 50-foot buffer. So it actually encroaches onto the site slightly, which will be requiring a DEP permit for.
Did you mention there were a couple of other pockets on this site, I thought?
Yes, there's 3 isolated pockets. It's a little over a half acre of isolated wetlands, which we're permitted to fill up to an acre on any property. So we're applying to the DEP to fill those isolated pockets.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the members of the board?
Madam Chair, this is Carol Saunders. I had a question. Are there going to be sheds on these smaller properties?
No, I believe it was actually the town requested that no sheds be permitted on the
Okay.
properties. And really, and since an HOA will be created to pretty much fully maintain these properties, there's less need for, sheds for lawnmowers and that sort of thing.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Barlow, you think we should open up to the public at this point?
No, Madam Chair, I would open to the public when all of the testimony's in.
Okay, hearing no further questions from the board at this time, we
An
can,
additional question.
okay.
Where the homes are, Mr. Soleil. I forget the redevelopment plan. Is there going to be like if somebody wants a patio outside?
As
Okay.
long as the property is under the impervious coverage
Okay.
permittance, then I don't believe that was restricted. No.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may, Dawn Corcoran, Mr. Soleil, is the intent to have basements on these homes?
No, there's no basements proposed.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I guess you can move on, sir.
Okay, thank you. So moving on to Site B, again, as I said, these are really 2 standalone sites that are separated by that large wetland body. For Site Plan B, we're seeking approval for 4 multifamily apartment buildings. The buildings are a mix of 3 and 4 stories and contain 190 apartments, and that's broken down to 134 2-bedroom apartments and 56 1-bedroom apartments. And as stated, the developable land of this portion of the site, like this larger lot, which is 33.9 acres, the developable area is actually more like 16.3 acres due to the large area of wetlands. So 16.29 acres is the area that's not wetlands. And that provides a net density of 11.66 units per acre, where the redevelopment plan permits 12 units per acre. The complex also includes an 8,000 square foot single-story clubhouse with a pool, pool shed, large patio area around the pool, and then 3 pickleball courts for recreation. This clubhouse is going to be available to the residents of both the multifamily and the single-family developments. Access to the site is from the southeast corner on South Washington Avenue. It's a boulevard-style entrance where there's a grass median that separates the ingress and egress lanes, so we can provide some nice landscaping from South Washington Avenue. The entrance is planned to be at the moment right in, right out only, as required by the township, unless we are applying for a left turn in from South Washington Avenue, but we're applying, if the county permits it, then we will request the left turn in and make the required improvements as determined by the county, and the township professionals were okay with that. The layout and circulation were really dictated due to the constraints of the property. We have an 85-foot front yard setback from South Washington Avenue, which provides a nice green corridor along South Washington Avenue. We're constrained to the west by the wetlands and the 50-foot wetlands buffers. And then really within this developable area, we have a JCP&L overhead wire easement, which is easier to see on the existing conditions plan. Really cuts right through the center of our developable area. So it took some time to come up with a layout that really worked with the constraints, and then also with the grade change from the northeast corner of the property. We have the same about 25 feet of grade change from north to south. And actually, I didn't I did mean to touch on the existing conditions of this portion there. Similar to the site A, it's mostly open space with some pockets of trees. And again, the only significant improvements on this area is that JCP&L easement, and we're essentially staying out of the wetland area. So going back to A4 and the proposed improvements, the constraints really drove the access and layout and circulation of the site. So the four buildings are designated as A through D. Building A is a 3-story, 49,317 square foot building containing 31 units, and it's set 86 feet back from the South Washington Avenue right of way. Building B is a 46,033 square foot building in total, and it's actually split 3 and 4 story, with the back half of the building being 4 stories and the front half being 3 stories with a rooftop terrace. And that was to keep from either of the two buildings along the South Washington frontage from being too overbearing along the right of way, being 4 stories in height. So we were limited to 3 stories. And this building B contains 29 units. The two larger of the 4 buildings, buildings C and D, are located towards the rear. Each of these buildings are 4 stories in height, with building C being a total of 97,833 square feet and containing 62 units, and building D being L-shaped building, 4 stories in height, 109,936 square feet, and this building contains 68 units, again, for a total of 190 units. The clubhouse, 8,000 square foot clubhouse, is located at the end of the entrance boulevard, so it does provide a more kind of aesthetic look when you enter the site, and it's located adjacent to building D. And again, this has the pool and patio and recreation in the rear. And it's kind of located towards the middle of the development to provide easy access for all residents. The parking field is more centrally located between all of the buildings, and it contains 314 parking spaces, and that includes 27 land bank parking spaces if deemed that we need the parking spaces, located around the JCP&L tower. So I guess I'll touch on that in regards to the layout and circulation. The JCP&L tower is located between buildings B and C, and requires a 100-foot buffer or 50 foot on all sides of that tower. So that's why we have that large green space there. And we provided the land bank parking around that green space there if we determine that we need it. Each of the spaces are sized 9 by 18, and drive aisles are 25 feet wide, which is compliant with the redevelopment plan, township ordinance, and RSIS requirements. We parked the site at 1.5 spaces per unit in accordance with the redevelopment plan, and an additional 14 spaces required for the clubhouse, which brings us into compliance with the 314 spaces. And the complex also includes 11 handicap spaces and 44 EV spaces, and we spread those out near each building. So we have 2 spaces in front of buildings A and B, and then 2 in front of C, 2 in front of D, and then 3 in front of the clubhouse to provide accessibility to each of the buildings for residents and visitors. The layout complies with all required setback and coverage requirements. As I stated, 85 feet from South Washington Avenue, and there's more than enough setback space from the rear of the property, as well as the side yard setbacks. And we're under on the maximum building and impervious coverages. Buildings B, C, and D are equipped with pickup drop-off areas. You can see we have these areas where someone can come and drop someone off towards the front of the building. And kind of allow them to enter the building at the main entrance, which each have a canopy or overhang. Sidewalk is provided along the frontage of each of these buildings and really interconnects throughout the site to provide accessibility and ADA accessibility for all residents and visitors. The sidewalk continues to a perimeter walkway, which provides some passive or active recreation. There's benches located intermittently along the walkway to provide areas to rest, to relax outside. There's a nice roundabout with some landscaping behind Building B, and then the walkways will connect to the clubhouse and down to the sidewalk provided along the South Washington Avenue frontage. And you'll see that along the perimeter walkway, we provide an additional 10-foot wide strip of reinforced grass pavers. This was a requirement of the fire official, and it's one of the reasons that we resubmitted the plans again before this public meeting to show that we were able to comply with the fire official's concerns and requirements that access for emergency vehicles could be made around the back of the buildings, which we were able to do that. So each of the apartment buildings has emergency accessibility behind the back of the buildings. And it's not so much, as the fire official explained, to fight fires, but in case access is needed for a ladder truck, for a rescue, or some sort of rescue behind the buildings. They wanted emergency vehicles to be able to make that access, but they said actual firefighting would, in that rare, occurrence would take place from the central parking area. And we did actually just recently receive an approval letter from the fire official saying that we really complied with all of their comments, their major concerns, and then we'll work with them for additional hydrants and fire department connections and that sort of thing. We also provided 4 dumpster enclosures, one located near each building. So near buildings A and B, we have dumpster enclosures near South Washington Avenue between the 2 buildings. Building C has a dumpster enclosure off the south corner of the building, and then the 4th dumpster enclosure is between the clubhouse and Building D, where the refuse will there's space allotted within the building to collect refuse internally, and then a member of the building management will bring refuse and recycling out to these enclosures to be picked up by a private hauler. And since it's a private hauler, we can really determine how many pickups are required. I know there's a question about the volume of recycling that may be required for as a breakdown of each unit, and if we need to, we'll work with the Department of Public Works on that. If we need additional dumpster enclosure space, we can provide it, but feel that given that these are senior age restricted homes, that the same amount of recycling may not be generated as a typical single family residence. But we can certainly work with the Department of Public Works to satisfy their concerns and provide the additional dumpster enclosure area if needed. And we are providing a freestanding sign located within that boulevard entrance in the center median that will comply with the redevelopment plan. The sign will be a max of 32 square feet, 6 feet in height, and setback 20 feet from the South Washington Avenue public right-of-way. And again, the site design is in accordance with the redevelopment plan and RSIS standards. Moving on to stormwater and utilities. Again, the site drains mostly from north to south. We provided 4 separate bioretention basins, which again meet the requirements of green infrastructure. The basins help us meet water quality requirements and runoff quantity requirements, and then discharge to about half the site. The 2 basins near building C and D discharge toward the wetlands, and then the other 2 basins discharge towards South Washington Avenue, where we'll be running a stormwater line down South Washington Avenue to discharge to the nearby drainage ditch that crosses South Washington Avenue just a few hundred feet away. Again, the reasoning behind the 2 separate discharge points is that's where runoff goes in the existing additions, and the plan is always to try and maintain existing drainage patterns where possible. So the design really meets all DEP, again, DEP, township, municipal, county soil erosion standards. And regarding the additional utilities, for South Washington Avenue being such a major road, there's not as many utilities nearby on this site. We're running a sewer extension approximately 1,200 feet to the south down the center of South Washington Avenue to connect to the nearest sewer manhole that's at the intersection with Mettler's Lane. And we're running an existing water main extension to the north. That one's about 1,100 feet to the north to connect to the nearest existing water main closer to Knox Drive, where the industrial warehouses are located. And then gas, electric, again, we'll be connecting to existing infrastructure, and fiber optics will be run along the property frontage as required. Again, we're proposing a substantial amount of landscaping to provide nice green perimeter and screening along South Washington Avenue, and along the perimeter to the west, and then intermittently throughout the parking lot. Each parking aisle has a green island between the head-on parking spaces, and that's to break up the pavement a little bit, to provide some additional greenery and trees throughout the site. So in total, we're providing 73 shade trees, 103 evergreen trees, 83 flowering trees, 628 shrubs, and 1,167 ground cover, as shown on the submitted landscape plan. So again, a substantial amount of landscaping to really make this a nice residential community. And lastly, lighting. We're providing the same decorative lantern style light fixtures. There's 36 of them located throughout the parking lot, mounted at 14 feet in height. And then where we're more restricted in the JCP&L easement, we had to raise the elevation of those light fixtures to 18 feet just to cast light a little bit further into that easement without actually placing light fixtures within that JCP&L easement, because it is restricted by that utility. So again, we're providing safe and adequate lighting throughout the facility with a minimum of 0.6 foot candles within the parking area and an average of 1.2 to 2 foot candles throughout the parking and drive aisles, which is certainly a safe level without being too bright within a residential complex. And again, that really sums up my direct testimony. If there's any questions for Site B.
Okay, members of the board. What questions do you have of Mr. Zalay?
Madam Chair, real quickly, Mr. Slay, the landscaped islands that are in the parking lot there, are they going to be irrigated?
We
Where the grass is?
We don't currently show irrigation, but being an HOA and property management, there's water circulating throughout the site, so they can be maintained since there'll be management on site.
All right, I think with the big ones, they should be irrigated, because otherwise you're going to end up with a patch of dead grass out there. I know there's an HOA, but the only way they're going to be able to maintain it, I'm not going to see somebody constantly running a long hose out there to water it, right?
Yeah, I understand.
All right,
we-
here's what we'll do.
Mm.
You'll install PVC so as if it's going to be hooked up. So it's there underground to install right there. Because once you do the parking lot, you're not going to be digging the parking lot up to run it. So you're
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably a good idea to do it, and we don't, obviously they don't want to plant all these trees just for them to die. So
Yeah. I would just say have them run the PVC for the piping for the and those they're out there, right, Dawn? Don't you think they should be done that way? Because otherwise, I could see that all dying off, and just mechanically having somebody run hoses from each building out there, with the cars out there, it would be very awkward.
And all too often, I mean, it's our landscape architect he sits in our office, so he is constantly getting complaints about older developments where you have the landscaping that's died, and they're looking for it to be replaced, and it becomes a back and forth as to who's responsible. So yes, why don't we just take care of that now?
Yeah, and we can work with Jonathan,
Yeah.
Ms.
Perfect.
Mizrahi, and figure out
Mhm.
the total area that should be landscaped or irrigated.
Okay.
Like a landscape sprinkler system is what you're envisioning?
Yeah,
there?
that's it. Yeah, that's Mr. Barlow. That's what we're looking at.
Okay.
Yeah, we can certainly agree to that. I have been communicating with the applicant. We can agree to that. Obviously, we'll have to take some time to design it with your professionals to make sure that it's what's appropriate. But we can certainly agree to that.
Yeah. And the only other question is, I just want to make sure, Mr. Arch, Mr. Slade, that there is PV conduit line out there for the fiber optic runs.
Yes, that'll be along the property frontage. Correct.
And where is that going out to? It's going to go out to South Washington Avenue, correct?
It's along the South Washington Avenue frontage.
Okay.
And if I may, just with regard, there was a comment, number 6 in the staff report, that you also bring an easement along the property line up to the wetlands to run that fiber as well.
So, yeah, I kind of had a question about that as to because these two developments are standalone, that our intent was to run it along the property frontage and not connect it between the two sites, because really there's no need to, and we'd be crossing the wetlands. So I wasn't.
All right, so here's the story on that. We're in the process of trying to run fiber optic line with the ecological park across the street. So we're gonna have to have it go back to police headquarters, which means it's going through your property out the back way to get, it says the crow flies. So that is it. So we got to figure out how that's going to go out there, and we'll worry about the DEP stuff later.
So if we can, the only way we can install it is with DEP's permission and getting that permit. So as long as if we can word it in a way that it's conditional on DEP granting the approval,
Yeah,
so that it doesn't cause us to come back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
They normally, for DEP, will allow for security purposes like that to go back there to have that happen. So,
And
I mean,
then
they don't want to see something large, but since it's going to be underground, you know. We'll work, Mr. Barlow, we'll work out that verbiage in the board approval.
Mayor, just so I'm clear, are you talking or Dawn, the northern edge of the property or the southern edge of the property?
So what it is, actually, it's going to be along. Let me just get to the overall. Hold on.
Can we use my exhibit that's here? I can.
Probably along the
Yes.
northern edge.
I spoke with our engineer today, and he was saying along the northern portion up to where the wetland stops, and then as well as the southern portion up to where the wetland is.
So
the north
so
of
just
Site
from-
B and the south of Site A?
I'm sorry, Tom.
The northern portion, the northern extreme border of Site B.
Correct. Chris is
and
showing.
kind of
He's
to the south portion of Site A. So Mayor, it needs to come out like on Suddy?
Yeah, out to Suddy.
Okay.
So you
Whichever
wanna-
way it gets it out to Suddy.
So along the entire property,
Yeah.
southern property line, through the wetlands and everything to Suddy out, because on the south property.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if we come out to our park, because we
So Mayor,
have
you're
paper
okay with the
streets.
north or the south. It's just so you just want to get it out to Suddy.
That's correct.
So, okay.
And we're speaking about 2 4-inch PVC pipes.
Yeah.
That's
It looks like if you run it along the northern edge of Site B,
Yeah.
and
It's
then you
easy.
can kind of
Probably
run
easier.
it through the stormwater lot, and then you can put it under the road.
That would be the best route, because
Correct.
we're stopping at somebody else's
Yeah,
house
yeah.
in the
Yep.
south direction. This is the shorter route as well.
Yep.
And we would
Okay.
be able to tie right
All right,
into the.
we'll take a look at that with the subject with the engineers, because we can always go out through the park too with the PVC.
Okay, I can work with that, Mayor.
Because you could tie in for the security cameras for the park too, for both parks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're happy to. I guess so. The idea is to get from South Washington to Suddy. That's what we're.
That's
talking
correct.
about. Okay, that was I was, I apologize, because I was
Yeah.
confused, 'cause I thought it was connecting site A to site B for
Well,
some,
we got that issue too, but if we can get it out to Suddy, because either way, you're gonna connect.
right, okay. No, I think
So,
I understand it now. Yeah, we
we'll
can,
work with the engineers on that.
we can certainly get some language and we'll work
Okay.
with that, where we will agree to that, absolutely.
Is
All right.
would the easement be okay to be non-exclusive where additional utilities could run in that easement? So that if we had to connect the utility between the two sites, we wouldn't have
Yeah,
to
let
disturb
me,
more
Mr.
than just
Barlow,
one.
I want to talk about, we'll have to talk about that with the developers agreement, because the only thing is concerned, because the fiber, it's really security, for security stuff. We'd have to take a hard look at that.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm sure we can work something out. Okay.
We're
Right.
happy to agree with whatever
Yeah.
we end up that works. We're happy with that.
Okay.
Yeah, there should be, you know, conduits for both developments, but then the fiber, you know, a conduit for the town to get out to Suddy, whichever way, how it happens.
And we will agree to that, absolutely.
Yeah.
If I may, Madam Chair, I just have
Sure.
questions. With regard to the proposed affordable housing units, can you just confirm that the units will be located within each of the buildings? They're not going to be central, they have to be dispersed throughout this development, correct? You're confirmed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll agree
And
to that.
then this may be more, I wasn't sure if your architect was coming on, but we do need confirmation that the project itself is going to comply with the UHAC requirements for age-restricted developments. And that's something that, you know, if your architect could prepare a memo, you know, as a part of resolution compliance, we just have to make sure that the municipality's getting credits for these units.
We're happy to do that, and Ben Horton is here. He will testify.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And just one last question for Mr. Saleh. Are there any proposed bike racks?
We don't have any
Okay.
proposed now. No.
Now
I
you're
was
gonna
just-
have to get some bike racks.
I agree with you. I think we would just encourage people to walk or ride their bikes over to that clubhouse. You know, we don't want to just see everybody moving their cars around on this lot. So I think that should be included as, you know, as part of this approval.
Well, I can, council, I can envision them, people using bikes to go to the traffic light, to go across the street to the ecological park, which is gonna have a very large
Sure.
multi-use bike path out there on
We're
60 acres.
We're happy to put bike racks in, and we'll work with your professionals to
Yeah.
figure proper
Thanks.
location.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, hi,
The
Madam Chair.
topics. Mhm.
Yes, Councilwoman Cahill here. I had a couple of questions. I think one of which probably pertains to, you know, both sites. But just first, if you could zoom in on the multi-family dwelling, the apartments, closer to the
So site B.
yeah, site B, the tower again, and just I apologize, just walk me through. So it's a 50-foot setback. I guess some is a little bit larger than others. Um, what what other is there anything else around that tower there?
Around the specific in this specific location, no, it's
Yeah.
just the tower and it contains, multiple lines. There are additional utility poles located. I don't have them shown on the plan, but located closer to the entrance that support some of the lower.
Not existing though.
They're existing, yes.
They are. Are those
They're just utility. They're not towers. They're
they're the
just your
wooden
standard.
poles? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. And so Mr. Saleh, just asking because you've done this before, have you drawn up plans for other developments of this nature where a big tower of that nature is kind of like right in the center?
I mean, exactly this layout, not exactly, but we're following. So the utility company has all sorts of regulations as far as what's permitted within the easement, how close to the easement. So that that was part of the design, is that there's a minimum distance between corner of building with the 100-foot wide easement, which extends beyond where the actual wires are. And that we maintained those minimum buffers and did try to configure the buildings so that we didn't have buildings that were just flush flat, right up against that easement. We have buildings that are kind of catty cornered and angled towards the overhead lines to make it a little more visually appealing and
Right.
not as impactful.
Understood. Well, I mean, that's a whole other issue. If somebody wants to move in with that big ugly tower there, so be it. I think people in New Jersey, their hand is forced to get whatever anyone's willing to develop on, to be honest with you. But if people want to move there, that's their prerogative.
We're kind of doing what we can with what we have
right,
here.
right. My concern though is so a couple of things. So that land then is owned by you said it was JCP&L?
Correct. Or
And
it's owned by the owner, but there's an easement, non-exclusive easement to JCP&L.
okay. And so how do they access that if they needed to?
If they have to come in and maintain it, I mean, they're granted permission to enter the site, and currently there's no access roads or anything that give them access. Now there's actually a roadway that allows them to access
Right.
the lines.
And will JCP&L consider some sort of fencing to prevent people from wandering over there, which I'd imagine, even though this is senior housing, you may have families visiting, things of that nature. It feels to me a little bit too negligent not to put some sort of fencing around there.
So the plans are currently being reviewed at JCP&L, and they're just asking us to, provide some statements and notes and things on the plans. It's not something that they've requested, and I don't know that they would want really part of the easement.
I honestly, Mr. Slay, I really don't care what JCP&L wants. I'm talking about our residents here in town and protecting them because somebody's going to wander into that spot. So I'm going to vote no unless a fence goes up, to be honest. And I would encourage everyone else to vote no unless we get a commitment tonight of some sort of protection being put there, quite frankly.
If I can just ask Mr. Zalay, the restrictions in the easement are restrictions on buildings and certain structures of a certain height. There is no restriction on walking through that area. That's not a hazard or anything along those lines. I think we want to clarify that it's a restriction on certain structures that can be put there because of certain height limitations near the tower. But the 50-foot buffer, I don't believe, applies to somebody walking through the 50-foot buffer. That is permissible, and I don't believe that poses any risk to any individual. It's more of a height consideration. We can certainly put in plantings if the board wants us to put in fencing around it to cut that area off. We certainly can. I just don't know if there's an actual hazard associated with it. The hazard that the easement is looking to protect against is tall structures that are going to interfere with where the tower.
I mean, do any of our professionals know if there's a hazard? I mean, I don't know of anyone here who lives that close to a power line that size. Does anyone here on the board live that close to a power tower that size who could give me some insight into this?
I don't live.
Oh, no, right? No, because we wouldn't.
Well,
And
but again,
I don't, I mean,
would
honestly, if you want to get an expert on here about that,
We're happy to
then
put a
I'm
fence
willing
in if
to
you want.
listen.
Ms. Cahill, we're happy to put a fence in if you want. I just want to make sure that
I just want some clarity here because no one's addressing this.
Well,
I mean,
my Councilwoman Kale, first of all, I haven't seen the easement, so I don't even know if they'd be allowed to put a fence around.
Okay, but doesn't, I mean, let's back up. Okay, let's just use some common sense here.
Well,
Do any of you live next to a tower of that size? Would you? And if you did, would you expect there to be some protections there from somebody walking that close to it?
Councilwoman,
who's the is it JCP&L or PSC&G?
JCP&L.
All right, JCP&L may be a bit more amicable to certain things. If it was PSC&G, I would just tell you they do what they want. And you may not want to hear that, but that's true. I had about 15 years in telecom and dealt with both. Basically, easements are legal documents, and there's certain things you can and cannot do. And when you impose, I mean, I would just, based on my prior experience in there, I had a lot of experience dealing with these companies. Easements, you have to look at what the easement's worded. You can make best efforts to put fences in, but if they can't or they won't, they won't.
Okay,
Period.
this is less about the people coming before us and more about our own board. I'd like to know what, I mean, is this common?
Well,
If I can
so
make
Is
real
this,
Right.
I mean, what's the experience? What is our expertise? I've seen those towers. They're very large. I mean, I'm certainly not the expert.
All right,
well, s-
if you want, I can weigh in on this because we do have similar instances within our community with the same power line, the same easement. We have on the north side of town, this line goes right through Piscataway. We have developments where there's no fencing out there and people actually use the property underneath of the power line, right where the stanchions are, or the power lines. You can go out
What
by
do they use it
by
for?
Lucille Court, Dawn, and Ray Court out there. As a matter of fact, the zoning board just granted a variance for somebody to work in that easement just within the last year out there.
It was just a couple months ago, actually, yeah.
Yeah, a couple months ago.
I mean, my comment with Councilwoman Cahill, and I understand your concerns are, this tower has been there without a fence around it for God knows how many years. Whether or not somebody wants to live by the tower is a personal choice that the
Oh,
people that want to
Mr.
rent.
Barlow, but there
If
wasn't.
I could just finish, I mean,
Okay, fine.
the redevelopment plan that was approved by this board knew of the tower's existence when it approved it. And the redevelopment plan doesn't talk about a fence or anything else. We could ask the applicant, and I think the applicants indicated that if allowed to, they would be amenable to putting a fence around it if the easement allows it. But beyond that,
Mr. Barlow, if I can add to that.
Yeah.
If we can put a fence around it outside of the easement area because it's a 50-foot easement around
50 foot and 6 inches, yeah.
So if we can put a fence, if we're able to do that, we will certainly do that if that's what the township professionals want us to do. If we can put it within the easement area, if JCP&L allows us to do that, we will do that as well. We will
Okay.
defer to the township and the township's professionals and the township's desire as to whether they want that section cordoned off or whether they want it open to allow people to be able to go under it. The only other thing I can add is that I have done one other application that involves a JCP&L tower of this type, and it was located. It was an industrial area, so it wasn't in a residence, but it was. JCP&L actually wrote a letter on that indicated they had no objection to us placing a parking lot, an active parking lot, right up to where those stanchions were. As long as it wasn't a building and as long as we maintained our lighting poles in that area under a certain height, they did not have an issue. I can't say we'll have the same outlook on this, but we're happy to do whatever the board or whatever the township.
Well, I mean, again, I'm not the expert here, and Mr. Barlow, I understand we approved this. This is the first time I'm seeing these plans.
Yeah, I'll just say
First time, I mean,
JCP&L.
I'm honest, it's first time I'm seeing. For all I know, the apartments could have been, backing up to it, not right sort of, in a central area. So
Well,
I
guess-
understand we approved it, but just looking at the plan for the very first time and the accessibility, and P.S., by the way, yes, it's been there all that time. there's no road around it, Mr. Barlow. I mean, I'm sure people might have
what's your
wandered back
concern,
there, but this is an
Councilwoman Kim?
invitation. This is centrally located, and I can appreciate everything that you're all saying. I mean, quite frankly, it still is a thing in my mind. That
Okay.
said, I understand that you'll have to go through your thing. I will just continue to make it noted that that is not something that I would think would be smart to just let go without even some sort of something to protect people from wandering. That said, I had some other questions that we can get on to. Regarding the left turn only with something that you might be looking to go to the county for off South Washington, will that require some of the right of way along the South Washington side to be taken? Do we know?
Potentially a right-of-way easement is going to be provided. I think the township is requiring one and the county may require one as well.
For the left. We're
Correct.
talking- Right. Okay.
Mr.
So that would mean
Piscataway.
land on the frontage might.
It-
Yeah.
Well, the easements for the township is required regardless of the left
Yeah.
turn, but for the county, it may be additional.
Okay.
Yeah, we, Dawn, correct me if I'm wrong, in our master plan, we have 155-foot right of way out there. 110.
Correct, and they are providing, and it's shown on the plan, I believe a 14-foot easement along.
Yeah,
Route
that's what I recall as well, 14 feet.
14 feet.
Okay.
Mm.
And then have we thought about installing any kind of electrical charging stations for those apartments at all?
We have 44 proposed.
Oh, I
I
didn't-
think
I didn't
we're
see
actually required 45, so we'll be adding one more than what we
Okay,
have shown.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I didn't hear you.
Well,
mention
I may have
the
missed that.
engineer answered my question. Thank you. They're required 45 if we agree to that. And I have no other comments.
Yes,
that.
agreed.
Okay, I didn't see that. And then I'm not even going to bother talking about the covered parking. It's just as a side note, it's always curious to me that there's no kind of garages. We had another 55 and older come before me for senior housing, and just the fact that it is senior housing and it's all exposed parking is always of curious nature to me. Why there's no sort of covered parking or parking underneath the buildings, but I get why people don't do that. Not required. And one other question with regard back to site A, I think it is, right? The single family homes.
Yes.
So without basements, and I understand those basins are good enough, but I mean, is there any concern at all for the weather events that we have here in town, where that water will go? If
We're-
it's so much without basements, I'm just, and again, not an expert in that field, and maybe Mr. Soleil, you can't answer that, but in terms of the big rain events and potential for flooding, that means first floor flooding.
Well, we're not within a flood hazard area where this site would flood, so that's not a concern at this site. And the fact that we don't have basements is actually kind of a safer condition because
So that the
basements
water
tend to flood
table,
first.
yeah, okay.
Right. So yeah, the water table's not coming up through the bottom through the first floor, and
Okay.
we have the stormwater designed adequately to convey all stormwater,
Okay, thank you.
even future storm events.
Thank you. That answered that question. Thank you.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Yes, go ahead,
We spoke about,
Mr. Atkins.
the ecological park across the street. Is there another way for the seniors to go across the street without having to go all the way down to the light? Is there going to be a planned light somewhere in there where the entrance is, or a way that they can maybe cut through the two dumpster sites along South Washington?
There's not a signalized intersection proposed with this application, but I understand it's being looked into when that ecological park is designed. That
Mr. Soleil, I
Yes.
can add into that. The county, there's going to be a temporary traffic light up there by the adjacent north of this site, and ultimately a new single lines intersection is going to be built for the ecological park, which will have obviously crosswalks and all the necessary federal standards. So it won't be directly across. They're going to have to go north to where the two commercial properties, the one commercial property is next door, to access it, or they can go south at Mettler's Lane. So there'll be two, both one north and one south.
Okay, I was just concerned that they'd have to walk kind of far with their bikes, or if they're walking.
Yeah.
A signal, that signal would break up that speed that it gets built up there along that strip too. If we had to signalize, it would break up the tendency to speed during that strip.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'm going to agree with you. Way back before, when we thought the other site that is warehouses, we thought that was going to be a mixed use. I know we talked about a signal there so that people could walk from that area over to the park, and making it one of those kind of crosswalks that would be, maybe brighter colored walkways, the things that would slow people down. And I understand this application is not doing that. But I wanted to cut in again on something else, but I don't know, Mr. Soleil, if you are talking or testifying at all about the actual design of the, I have the drawing of the apartment.
The architect will discuss the buildings themselves.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions of this witness before we open it up to the public? Okay, hearing no questions right now. Members of the public, we're open up to you to have if you have any questions of Mr. Zalay. He gave testimonies on both sites, the site for the single-family homes, as well as the site where the apartments will be located. If you have any questions, please indicate by shaking or raising your hand, or there's a number that you can call if you're calling on by phone.
Yeah, if you're on the phone, you'd hit *6. If not, you could raise your hand. No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public. I guess you can call your next witness then.
Thank you. Our next witness would be John Ray. He's our traffic engineer.
Okay.
Chris, I don't know if you don't mind, just stop sharing your screen right now, unless John.
Yeah, Chris, you could leave that exhibit up that shows the two sites.
I need to swear him in. And can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear that the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, John, if you can, please just go over your credentials briefly so the board can.
Sure. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. My field of specialty is traffic engineering. I have a total of 50 years experience in the traffic engineering field, the last 40 of which have been doing consulting work here in the state of New Jersey. And I have appeared before this board and many other boards throughout the state as an expert witness over the last 4 years.
Thank you. He's acceptable.
Thank
you. Mm-hmm.
John, you've had you've had the opportunity to look at the site and to opine on it. If you can please just give
Sure.
the benefit of your years of experience.
Been out to the site on numerous occasions to look at the existing roadway and traffic conditions in the area. We've done a full traffic impact analysis dated June 2nd, 2025. Dealing with Site A first, we will have access to Suddy Avenue via an extension of Carroll Lane. We have analyzed the intersection of Suddy Avenue and Carroll Lane for the 2028 design year for the project, and have determined that that intersection will operate at level of service A, which is an excellent level of service with minimal delay for the 2028 design year for both the AM and PM peak street hours. That includes traffic that's generated by the Randolph-Ville Elementary School at the end of Suddy Avenue. We did do the traffic counts when school was in session. With respect to the internal circulation, just to go over what Mr. Zalay has testified to, we have what is commonly known as a P loop. P as in Peter. that will serve as access to the 39 single-family homes. The internal street is dimensioned with a cartway of 30 feet, which permits parking on the street according to the RSIS. And so I find that the intersection of Carroll Lane and Suddy Avenue will operate at acceptable levels of service. The site has been designed in conformance with the RSIS, and it is my expectation that traffic will enter and exit the site safely and efficiently based on those conclusions. With respect to Site B, that is the larger of the two sites, of course. 190 senior apartments are proposed with a divided boulevard to South Washington Avenue. South Washington Avenue is under the jurisdiction of Middlesex County, so we will have to get a county approval for our access. There has been a discussion earlier today about whether left turns would be permitted into the site. We will be applying for a left turn into the site, and that will be taken up with the county when the county gets a chance to review that information. With respect to any other potential turning restrictions, such as a left turn out, I can tell you that our traffic study concludes that the left turn movements out of the driveway, even based on the traffic volumes along South Washington Avenue, the left turn movements out of the side driveway will operate at level of service D during the morning peak hour and E during the afternoon peak hour. And although they are acceptable levels of service, we are anticipating that there'll probably be a discussion with the county with respect to restricting left turns out of the site driveway. And the thing I can tell the board is that if and when that should happen and the county should make that prohibition a requirement, there is a reasonable alternative to make the left turn to get back to the north on South Washington Avenue. A motorist can make the right turn, go down to the signal at Metlars Lane, and there's a local street network there that would permit, I guess, what we would call a far side jug handle using Lakeside Drive North and Lake Way. That motorist can reverse direction, come back to the traffic signal at Metlars Lane and make a left turn at the traffic signal to go north on South Washington. So I think that's a question that still is going to be determined by the county, but we do have a reasonable alternative should the county decide to restrict the left turn movement out. As far as the parking and the internal circulation, not to go over everything Chris has testified to, we do provide adequate parking in accordance with the redevelopment plan. 299 parking spaces are required, including the clubhouse parking. We are providing 314 with the EV credits. So we meet and exceed the parking requirement as per the redevelopment plan. The parking, as you can see from the site plan, is internal to the four buildings for the most part, well distributed, so that each building has access to that good central parking area. And I guess the only other thing to comment on with respect to South Washington Avenue has a very level and straight alignment in the area. And as long as we provide the site triangles that the county will require, the site distance along South Washington Avenue will be excellent. So again, I find the plans have been designed in accordance with proper traffic engineering principles. We have adequate parking, adequate site distance, and I find the site will operate safely and efficiently, just as Site A will. That's basically a quick summary of the traffic study.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Mr. Ray is available for questions of the board.
Members of the board, do you have any questions for Mr. Ray? Okay, then I
Thank
guess
you.
okay, I was going to open it up to the public. Mr. Arch. Members of the public, you've heard the testimony of the traffic engineers. Anyone wishing to ask any questions at this time may indicate by waving your hand or calling, dialing 9 if you have to call by phone.
Star 6.
Star 6, I'm sorry.
You're close. It's upside down. Yeah, so you can either raise your hand, it's on the bottom of your screen, or star 6. No one, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Close to the public.
All right, our third and final witness tonight is Ben Horton. He is our architect. I will note that we were requested by the township to provide examples, sort of representative examples of the single family homes. So we will be presenting those. I don't want you to think that it's only these examples, where we want there to be flexibility for the people that are going to be eventually living there. So this is, again, these are representative to show what can be done there, but we're not necessarily set in stone that that's exactly what they're going to look like. We just want to give a range.
Okay.
And, Mr. Horton can be sworn in.
Mr. Arch, I don't mean to interrupt you or your presentation, but just, I believe Ms. Dolan, the municipality's traffic expert, is on. And I just, before you moved on to the next expert, I just wanted, Ms. Dolan had any questions or concerns with regards to Mr. Ray's testimony. I know she reviewed it and issued a report, and if she had any concerns from the township's perspective.
Thank you. I have no issues. I'm comfortable with the analysis, and I am very comfortable with the testimony provided by Mr. Ray.
That's what I thought you might say, but I just wanted to make sure you had a chance to say it.
For the record. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Bar. I always appreciate being interrupted for something as positive as that.
No problem. You may continue, Mr. Arch.
All right, I think we are swearing in Mr. Horton.
Horton, yes. Mr. Horton, can you please raise your right hand? I'm not seeing him.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay.
Was
Do you
there a
swear that
moment
the
ago?
testimony
There
about
he
to
is.
give- Do you swear that the testimony about to give will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, Ben, if you can please just give the board some of your qualifications so that you can be accepted.
Absolutely. My name is Benjamin Horton, Horten. I'm with Ben Horton Architecture and Design, located at 312 State Route 10, Randolph, New Jersey. I'm the principal of the firm. I started the company in 2000. My background is I received my Bachelor of Fine Arts degree at Carnegie Mellon University, and then I received my Master of Architecture at Yale University. After graduation, I worked for two major firms, international firms, Canon Design and Gensler. Gensler is one of the largest firms in the world. I worked with those companies for several years, and after gaining some experience, I started my company in 2000. So I've been in business for about 25 years. I appeared before Piscataway on a few occasions. I've testified in many municipalities. I'm licensed in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, and numerous other states. That's my credentials.
Thank you, sir. You're acceptable.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Horton, if you can, please show us what everything's going to look like.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, great. I think I'm going to start first with the residential, the single family homes first, because that's in sequence with the application. So let me go there first. Sorry.
Mr. Arch, are these exhibits that were prepared for the hearing this evening, or were these submitted as part of the package already?
I believe these were already submitted. I think we had submitted colorized ones, but
Okay.
I'll defer to Mr. Horton if there's anything that you created specifically for this hearing.
For these single family homes, they were submitted later. The rendering for the single family home here, there's a set of renderings that is colorized that has not been submitted. So I would say that's an exhibit.
So why not, out of an abundance of caution, Mr. Arch, we'll just, everything Mr. Horton puts up, I'll just have marked as an exhibit, so we can keep track of it. So,
all right, very good. I do apologize where the tools are shown. I do have to reduce the size of this PDF before I could get to the tabs. The first set of drawings I want to go through is the architectural plans and elevations, and then I would go with the rendering for the single family homes. I think Mr. Celez, the civil engineer, described the limitation of the sites. As you know, there are sites that are 5,000 square foot, which is the smallest lot. And some of those larger lots, I believe he said that goes up to 10,000 square foot. We wanted to give you an example on a small lot, an example of a floor plan. And we did a couple floor plans for each types. This would be a typical 5,000 square foot lot where you're limited to 20% of building coverage. So if you're 5,000 square foot, that means your first floor footprint can't be bigger than 1,000 square feet. So within that envelope, we wanted to give you an idea of what the house could look like. So for example, in this option, you have this entrance here, entrance into an open living room, kitchen, dining area. And we thought that some owners may want to have a bedroom on the first floor in case they don't want to go up and down the stairs. And in this unit, it also has a one-car garage. The stairs is a U-shaped stairs, which has a mid-landing, which I feel is a more comfortable type of stair. So you take the stairs upstairs, and you can see upstairs we have 2 additional bedrooms, a large ensuite, and a separate sort of lounge area. And honestly, the homeowners have a lot of choices on how they want to rearrange the plan. So we just want to give you an idea. This is an example of one floor plan. Within that, this is an example of the elevation. I think the elevation, I'm going to save that for the rendering because it tells the picture a little bit better. Another example of the floor plan is simply, obviously, some of the lots are mirrored, so we could accommodate that. And you can imagine in some plans, you may want to have an open floor plan on the ground floor and no bedrooms on the first floor and all the bedrooms on the second floor. So we did another layout to show you similar type of floor plan where you have a large open living room, dining room, living room area, same one-car garage, and all your bedrooms are upstairs. Now, this is very similar to the type of house my mother-in-law lives in. So she's able to manage the stairs, but they do enjoy having the larger open living area. Another type of floor plan we did was slightly larger floor plan. This is type C. So when you have a lot that's larger than 5,000 square foot, you could obviously have a larger footprint. In this case, we showed an example of footprint that is about 1,300 square foot footprint. And so you could accommodate that. In some of the larger lots, you could get even bigger. But we didn't want to, obviously there's so many choices that you can have. But again, in this option, we showed that you could get a 2-car garage in those bigger lots very comfortably, have an open living room, dining room, kitchen area, and a bedroom on the first floor. And in this case, we made a smaller second floor with 2 bedrooms upstairs. But again, you could probably make that larger if you wanted to, if you were a homeowner. So with that same floor footprint, we did another option where you do a bedroom on the first. I'm sorry, this one is just mirrored. But you could imagine, on the ground floor, if you have the master bedroom, if somebody didn't want to have a master bedroom, that could easily become an office. There's so many choices that you have. Now I'm going to go to the rendering here. So
that is A5, Mr. Hort.
Yeah. That's great. So on this rendering for a typical house, we wanted to show you, this is one of the smaller homes that's 2-story. This is very typical siding with some stone details, nice windows. Here's another option, same floor plan, but just different type of material. So there's quite a bit of things that you can do with the house just by changing the aesthetic. Now, not everybody might not like this next modern style house I'm going to show, but I just wanted to show you with the same footprint, there's such a dramatic change that you can make to the design of the house just by changing the architecture. Again, this is the same floor plan. Let me show you, go back to the beginning. 1, 2, 3, and you can see that there's quite a bit of choices that you can make. Now, this is it's the same plan with the a slightly different floor plan where you have a different entrance door. Again, you could change the look quite dramatically by just changing the siding and different colors on the window. And this is the larger house that has the 2-car garage. Again, in this case, you see the difference. It's a wider house, larger garage. And then same thing, if you just change the siding material, you could dramatically alter the look of the house. So that's an example of what you can do with those lots. Those houses, I think you could easily have a footprint that's 1,000 square foot for the smaller lot. And then if you add a second floor on top of that, you could easily make it 2,000 square foot or, within that range. If you may have a footprint that's a little bit larger, like for example, the 13,000 square foot footprint, you can have a house that's, double that, 2,600 square foot relatively easily. But it's really, it gives the homeowner a lot of choices. And I think, when I think of senior housing, I think most people are going to want to try to keep the house small, but then they're going to want to have a couple extra rooms so that they could have a study or they could have grandkids come visiting. So this does give you a lot of options. So that's the single family home. Now I'm going to go to the multifamily home, the apartment buildings. Now this one here, these floor plans were set of floor plans and elevation were submitted to you. And as you saw, there were 5 buildings, 4 apartment buildings and 1 clubhouse. They were labeled on the site plan building A, B, C, and D, and then E for the clubhouse. This is building A. You can see on the drawings on the lower right corner, we labeled it as building A. And we provided typical ground floor plan and typical upper floor plan for each of the building. And when you look at the chart, for example, in this building here, top right corner of the drawings, you see a chart that says the number of 1 bedrooms and number of 2 bedrooms. We try to put in more 2-bedroom units because from a marketing perspective, we find that the 2-bedroom units are more desirable because it gives people more flexibility. The other thing to note is that these units, these apartment units are, we try to make it more desirable by making the sizes of the unit, very competitive in the market. Typical 1-bedroom units, let me take you to a floor that has a 1-bedroom here. The blue unit is 1 bedroom. You can see this is shown at 9,300 square foot net, whereas the 2-bedroom units are approximately 1,300 square feet. So all the 1-bedrooms in this complex are typically in that 900 square foot range, and that's net square foot, not gross. A lot of times when you shop for apartments, people are going to show gross numbers just to make it seem bigger, but the net numbers are the numbers not including the exterior walls. And they are all around 900 square foot, plus or minus a few square foot higher, few square foot lower, but it's in that range. As a comparison, what's nice is that when you look at 1-bedroom apartments, say in Manhattan, you may have a 600 square foot 1-bedroom apartment. Here, we have 900 square foot. 2-bedroom apartments are around 1,300 square foot, which is, very generous. The room sizes are big, living areas are very generous. Each of the building, I would like you to note that, they have elevators. They're going to be fully accessible, handicap accessible. They're going to have their own little lounge areas and activity rooms, as well as, the shared clubhouse that everyone's going to have access to. And one of the things that the township, you request that we include is that each building have a roof garden so that they have some nice roof areas to relax in on their roof. Now, again, the elevations of the building, I'm going to defer to the rendering because I think that tells a better story. But I think one of the things I would note with the floor plan, you can see we took care to kind of jog the walls along the perimeter so they're not always flat, because I think you've seen a lot of buildings that are just simple flat and not attractive. We try to add these bumps to make the building look a little more attractive as you build them 3-dimensionally. Again, this is building B, same thing. You got the ground floor with shared lobby, elevators, and amenity spaces. You got a series of 1-bedrooms and 2-bedroom units. And then there's a roof terrace here at the top floor. And this building here is 4-story on the left side and 3-story on the right side. Again, that was the civil engineer and my office and the township professionals. We spent some time talking about what portions of the building should be 3 stories and what portions of the building should be 4-story. And this is the result of building B. Building C, same. It's very similar as the other buildings. Ground floor, you have the nice lobby area, amenity spaces, elevators. Typical upper floors, you have the combination of 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units. You can see it varies. And this one is a 4-story building. This is 4-story all the way across, whereas some of the buildings is 3-story for a portion of the building. This is 4-story all the way across. And we will have a roof patio on this building as well. This is the last building, building D, which is the L-shaped one located next to the clubhouse. This one, again, a ground floor with the lobby and all those amenity spaces. And then you can see the combination of 1-bedroom and the 2 bedrooms. And this is also a 4-story building. Now the clubhouse is gonna have a large community room, maybe a library, some administrative offices, locker rooms, shower areas for the pool, and a small kitchen to service the various activities that might happen in the multi-purpose room. And this building is obviously located right next to the pool and outdoor amenity space. And this one, I think again, if you let me get to the rendering. Again, this rendering was submitted. All the apartment buildings have a similar aesthetic where we mix the materials so it doesn't look all flat. The walls are going to jog in and out, and you're going to have combination of, if I could zoom in, you could see stone materials, stucco type of materials, as well as some sort of like a low maintenance siding type of material. So we could vary those details, as well as adding these decorative parapets here that has some nice shapes to it. In some cases, we're able to put a little pergola up on top. So if it's a 3-story building, we could have a small covered area. On the 4-story buildings, unfortunately, we can't do that because of the height restriction. But in most of the buildings, we were able to do a nice covered roof patio as well. You can see this is building B, where you have a 4-story building and a 3-story building. And the roof terrace is located over the 3-story building, so we could have a little bit of covered porch, covered roof terrace there as well. Again, you can see the materials are very similar, so that they're cohesive from one building to the next. And then this is the building C. Yeah, building C is a 4-story building, so you will have a roof terrace, but unfortunately, we won't be able to put a covered roof because that would exceed the roof height. Building D, same thing. It's a 4-story building. It does not have a covered roof patio, but it will have a roof patio. And there, again, the buildings are very similar in nature, using the similar type of materials and making sure the walls all jog in and out to give it more varied shape. And then the community center takes cues from the apartment buildings and uses those same warm color materials, and it would be made so that the building have some volume to it, so those community rooms will have taller ceilings. You can see this is a 1-story building, but the middle section of the roof is 20 feet high, where the main community room is, so that we could have a community room that has a nice tall ceiling, at least 10 feet or higher, possibly even 12 feet high. Okay, so that's it. That's really the 5 buildings that we provided on this property. So if there's any questions.
Ben, if I can just ask one thing before we go to questions, just to Dawn's earlier point and earlier question as to being able to provide some sort of certification that we are meeting those standards that she asked for. We have no problem doing that, correct?
No, absolutely. All the apartment buildings, you can see is a combination of 1 and 2 bedroom, and there's a percentage rule you have to follow. Off the top of my head, I believe currently it's 20%. It does change every so often, but currently my understanding is 20%. And if you look at the floor plan, there's no distinction between the units. All the units are really generously sized, and I think it doesn't matter. My opinion is they should be treated the same way. And so the subsidized units that are lower income, you can't distinguish it from the other units. They'll be dispersed throughout the buildings, and you won't know the difference.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Horton is available for any questions of the board.
Okay, members of the board, have any questions for Mr. Horton?
Madam Chair, this is Councilwoman Cahill. Thank you so much. I had just a couple of questions with regard to the single family homes. So, am I to understand that the owners sort of will get an option of design in there, that they're all not going to be sort of cookie cutter? Yes.
That's correct. And I think what we tried to show, because I think before we had the hearing date, some of the board members asked, can you prepare a floor plan to show what the houses might look like? Because I think when you have a 5,000 square foot lot, the maximum footprint you can do by your ordinance is 1,000 square foot. And within that 1,000 square foot, I think people, you have to provide a garage based on your ordinance. So you have to have at least one car garage. And then within that, the remaining space, what can you do with it? So I tried to show those floor plan options to show that.
Yeah.
But
That's great. Yeah, just want to make sure that that was the case. I think that's great. My other question was pertained to the apartment building with the, and I know these are just, sort of first renderings with the materials. It's hard to, and I mean, maybe they're listed here. The material, it's going to be like stone. Is there a particular sort of stone that it's supposed to replicate? I see the one stone. What about just the section next to it where right now where your hand
yeah,
is? What is that?
we were thinking that would be more like fiber cement type of siding material that almost looks like wood, but it's low maintenance.
Oh, right. So it's supposed to look like wood. So this would be a stone wood. And then is that lighter material meant to be like
Like
I don't
stucco.
want a stucco?
Mhm.
Or is that also a wood?
This also could be that fiber cement type of board, or it could be the stucco type of material.
Right, but just a lighter in contrast.
Right, that's correct.
Right. And just another quick, I see it's not that I totally don't like the brown tones, the more earthy ones. Are these colors set in stone, or are you still finalizing these plans?
Well, these materials, w- I think this is the color range. During the design stage, when we were working back with your, I think, technical committee, we looked at quite a variety of color options. Because I think one of the questions was, one of the comment was they didn't want to see a building that was just completely flat and
Right.
that was completely like monotone. And so we
Should
looked
have
at options where we vary
Yeah.
the materials, to different colors. So we did some different color options where we tried different colors, actual colors, and ultimately the neutral tones I think was more palatable for the reviewers. Personally, I think we are going to vary the materials. We got 3 different materials with some trim colors, so that does provide quite a bit of variety.
Okay. And then just another quick question. So I don't know which rendering of yours has it, but there's one with a large set of, so actually on the top picture there that you have, those 3 sort of main entrances, that goes into that common area that you were talking about,
Yes,
okay, that's
the
what
main
that,
lobby.
right, the main lobby. And then I have another rendering that kind of looks like there's a handicap ramp on the side, but then steps coming up to a main thing.
This building.
Yes.
Mhm.
Is there any particular reason why that looks that way and another building looks sort of like as a flat entrance coming in?
I think because the way the grading worked on the site plan,
Oh, okay.
entrance here for this building was a little bit higher from the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
This rendering, we try to represent that there's going to be a elevation difference at the entrance door and the sidewalk over here.
Mm-hmm.
This is I think my staff took a little bit of artistic liberty here, but they meant to show that the actual lobby elevation is slightly higher than the sidewalk.
Then sidewalk. So so if need be, there'll be sort of that gradual for like wheelchair
That's right.
accessibility.
They're
Okay.
they're made to be fully 100% accessible.
Okay. Thank you. Those were all my questions. I appreciate it.
Okay, any other members of the board have questions of Mr. Horton? No questions? Okay. Then let's open it up to the public. Members of the public, you've heard Mr. Horton's testimony. Anyone wishing to ask questions of Mr. Horton, you can either raise your hand or push *6 if you have a question by telephone.
Anyone from public? Everyone's unmuted, so. No one, Chairwoman.
All right, close to the public.
Thank you. So that is our last witness. Just briefly, I will sort of sum up. This is a redevelopment project. We are 100% fully conforming with your redevelopment plan. We are not requesting any deviations. We are agreeing to all of the comments and suggestions from your professionals, and we'll continue to work with your professionals to make sure that this is dialed in and perfectly what the township wants. We will agree to all the conditions that were mentioned here tonight. And I'm sure each of our professionals will give you their firstborn child if they want to. Although I think Chris just had a kid, so maybe not him. But
I'm an empty nester. I don't want any more kids.
okay. So I guess what I'm saying is we are happy to work with the town and to quite frankly make sure that this is something that everybody is proud of, and we'll continue to work with you. So thank you for giving us the time tonight, and we look forward to hopefully getting your approval.
Madam Chair, before you go to take it for a vote, Mr. Archer, I was just curious. I mean, I know that it's a ways away before these are built, but is there any indication as to price ranges that this developer is looking at, the kind of, customer, affordability? I mean, not COA, but, just an idea, or we don't have any privy to that yet?
I personally have not had that conversation with my client. I can certainly ask him. We're on a text chain. I can ask him if he knows that yet. I kind of guess that it's a little early to be guessing what those prices are going to be. You did mention there is going to be an affordable aspect, so we are obviously have to follow the affordable housing aspects with that. But I don't know if we have a price range necessarily set yet.
I appreciate that. Thank
And
you.
yeah, I just got confirmation. We don't have a range of prices that we think we're going to market them at.
Do we have a date, approximate date when they'll be ready? The houses as well as the apartments.
If you ask my client, he wants them built yesterday. I can tell you that if we get your approval here tonight, we are going to be moving as quickly as we can to get through all of the other approval hurdles that we need to be able to get building permits. I know that they are anxious to get this started. So I can't give you an approximate time yet, but I can tell you that we're not going to be sitting on this one.
If I could ask one question, which you have site A and site B, which section is going to go under construction first?
That's a good question. Do we have Chris, do you know if it's going to be concurrent, or if there is any, they're really almost treated as two separate because of that separation between them. So I don't see why they couldn't be concurrently pursued, but I'll leave it to Chris to see if there's any
Yeah, I believe they're going to be one and then the other. I think just due to financial purposes. At one point, I believe that the single family was intended to be first, and we haven't talked about it in a while, so I don't know if that's still the case.
I can add that my client did indicate by text that the intention is they do want to try to do both at the concurrently. So that's what the intent is going to be. Hopefully, we'll be able to make that a reality.
Madam Chair, I apologize. I overlooked one of my questions, Mr. Arch. With the access of the clubhouse for the folks in the single family home, that's going to be, I mean, in some cases, some people might walk, but that's essentially a drivable sort of situation, right? Since the wetlands are in between, and they will need some sort of credentials or something so that folks aren't just randomly going into the clubhouse and it's for its owners. Is that I don't even know how that stuff works. Just curious how they keep it to the folks who are paying into the HOA and things of that nature.
Yeah, I can only assume. I don't know if we've gone into that detail. I can assume that the HOA will provide some form of a credential, number of passes or something to the individuals that they'll have to show to get in there. I know in previous apartment complexes that I've lived in, there have been you need to have like either key card access or some sort of way to access the clubhouse facilities, and I imagine it'll be something similar to that. I believe a key fob system, but that'll be sorted out with the HOA.
You know what? So that brings up a question. So with the accessibility for the folks in the single family home who, I don't know, and what percentage of folks are going to take their car? I'd imagine quite a few will bring their car. That parking allotment, I'm asking maybe our town professionals, we've taken into consideration, right? Folks coming from single family homes with their cars to access the community center there.
The clubhouse required 14 additional parking spaces.
Okay.
That was what was determined.
Thank you.
Okay, are we good? Do I have a motion?
Madam
We
Chair,
accept this.
go ahead, Mr. Foster.
Accept this.
Oh, is that you, Mr. Atkins?
Mr. Foster.
Mr.
Foster, I didn't see.
Move the application with all the conditions agreed to by Mr. Archer. Correct, Mr. Foster?
Is that true?
I think he said yes. It's just hard to hear him.
Okay, is there, okay,
Okay.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Harold Saunders, second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Waller,
Yes, with to make sure with a caveat with the list of all the conditions and everything that we spoke about here.
Certainly. Mr. Arch is nodding his head in agreement.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cahill,
Yes, and I'm just going to ditto what the mayor said.
Ms. Corcoran,
Yes.
Ms. Saunders,
Yes.
Mr. Atkins,
Yes.
Mr. Foster,
Yes.
and Madam Chair.
Yes. Mr. Barlow, would you like to enumerate the conditions?
That might take might add to the meeting, but Mr. I have a list of them, and Mr. Arch.
Let's just put it this way, Mr. Barlow, it'll be on the board approval conditions in the
100%.
memorialization.
Yes.
100%. It'll all be encompassed in the resolution for next month. Mr. Arch, if I could just ask, your engineers exhibits 1 through 4, if you could make sure he emails them to Miss Buckley.
Yes, we'll provide those as well as Mr. Horton's exhibit as well.
Okay. Thank you.
And Mr. Barlow, if you miss any of the conditions, I'll make sure to remind you.
If you don't, I'm sure the mayor or Miss Corcoran will.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Everybody, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Yeah, second.
And happy Halloween, everybody.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And
Good night.